Shrinker, a powerful and immersive hypnotic conditioning session designed to permanently change how your body responds to the need to urinate. This is not just about relaxing, it's about transforming the way your bladder functions, feels, and responds. Over time, through repeated listening and subconscious reinforcement, this session will begin to rewire the deep physiological and emotional connections that keep you in control and dissolve them. What once felt automatic and easy, like holding it in, will start to feel unnatural, difficult, and eventually impossible. This session is engineered to cause total wetting incontinence, no matter what. Whether you're awake or asleep, distracted or focused, in a familiar place or somewhere new, your subconscious will begin to treat any and all bladder signals as permission to release. You'll find it harder to tell when you need to go. Your warning signals will shrink just like your capacity. Your bladder itself will begin to feel smaller, weaker, and less capable. Accidents will start to feel expected. Holding it will feel unfamiliar. You won't be training to use diapers. You'll be conditioning your body to need them through a hypnotic journey that blends body-focused visualization, subconscious scripting, and physical anchoring. This session will guide you into a deep trance where your bladder's old programming is dismantled. As the suggestions take hold, your brain will begin to associate holding it with discomfort and releasing with reward, relief, and freedom. A pattern begins forming, one that loops deeper every time you listen. You feel pressure. You let go. It's that simple. And that simplicity will soon become automatic. You won't be expected to force anything. This isn't about pushing or straining. This is about rewiring. You'll be walked through sensations of shrinking capacity, weakening control, and the softening of muscular tension. And as your conscious mind fades, your subconscious mind will absorb new rules. Rules that say you don't need to hold it anymore. Rules that make accidents feel normal. Rules that make wetting feel safe, inevitable, natural. You'll be introduced to specific triggers, physical, emotional, and situational cues that deepen the transformation. The sound of running water, the feeling of a full belly, the sight of a diaper. All of these will become anchors for release. They won't just make you think about wetting. They'll make your body act on it. Your mind will no longer be the gatekeeper. Your bladder will shrink, both metaphorically and physically, until it holds less and leaks more. That's the goal. That's the path. You'll feel this transformation gradually at first. Maybe a little leak when you thought you were safe. Maybe more urgency than usual. But with each session, those changes become deeper, stronger, permanent. And with every listen, your bladder shrinks a little more. mind cares a little less, and your body lets go a little easier. This is not a temporary fantasy. This is long-term, body-level reprogramming. You are preparing to become someone who weds, someone who can't help it, someone who doesn't need to try. And the beauty of it is, you don't need to fight. You don't even need to think. You only need to listen, relax, and let the process unfold. This is the first step on a deeply physical path, a journey inward where muscle memory, bladder signals, and subconscious responses are all shaped and rewritten. And the more you listen, the more your body listens, because your body wants this. Your bladder is ready. Are you? Let yourself begin by getting comfortable. However you're lying or sitting right now, allow your body to begin melting into the surface beneath you. Let the tension in your shoulders drain. Let your arms rest. Let your legs settle. There's nowhere else you need to be. No one else you need to be. Just this moment. Just your body. Just your breath. Inhale slowly, letting the breath expand your belly just a little. Then exhale, slowly, gently, letting that air carry away anything stiff or tense or gripping inside of you. With every breath, you let go more. Your jaw relaxes. Your eyelids grow heavier. You might even feel a gentle sensation in your stomach or hips, a soft heaviness that says you're doing perfectly. As the outside world begins to fade into a soft, distant hum, you become more aware of your own inner landscape, your breath, your heartbeat, the warmth in your lower belly. That's where we begin to focus now, on that quiet central place where your bladder lives. Begin to imagine, deep within you, the feeling of warm pressure. Nothing painful, just awareness. A fullness, light at first, like the way your body gently reminds you after a tall glass of water. You don't need to act on it. You're simply noticing, observing the way your body holds, the way your muscles respond. You may even begin to notice how subtle that tension is. The slight grip of muscles that have spent your entire life holding without you thinking about it. But now you're thinking about it. You're letting your awareness drift to that space just below your navel. And as you focus there, breathing slowly, deeply, comfortably, you may begin to feel a softness forming, a letting go of the tightness, like those muscles are learning to relax for the first time, and that relaxation spreads with each breath, down into your hips, up into your belly. Everything begins to feel a little looser, a little warmer, a little less contained. Now imagine a soft wave of warmth spreading from your bladder outward. That warmth isn't just relaxation, it's rewiring. Every nerve, every tiny muscle fiber is beginning to listen, not to your conscious mind, but to something deeper, something more primal. Your body has always held control over your bladder, but now you're learning imagine your bladder itself shrinking. Visualize it gently contracting, not uncomfortably, but naturally. It's becoming smaller, more sensitive, more eager to release. The muscles that used to hold back are softening, letting go. And with every breath, every word, those changes deepen. Now, picture a tiny stream of water in your mind, a soft trickling sound, like a gentle brook running over stones. That sound becomes an anchor, a cue that tells your body it's okay to let go now. And the more you hear it in your imagination, the more your body wants to respond. It doesn't matter that you're not on the toilet. It doesn't matter where you are. The sound becomes the permission, the comfort, the trigger. You may begin to notice that when you imagine pressure in your bladder, it feels heavier than before. And when you imagine trying to hold it, it feels unfamiliar, foreign, uncomfortable. That's a good sign. Your subconscious is listening. Your body is learning. Let yourself continue sinking into this state. Not asleep, not fully awake, just in between. A place where your body listens deeply, where your thoughts float quietly, and your bladder becomes more and more suggestible. In this state, the suggestions to come will go in easily, like seeds planted in soft, fertile ground. Your mind is open. Your body is relaxed. Your bladder is listening. And that is exactly where we begin. Now that your body is softened and open, we begin the deep work. This is the phase where your subconscious starts to absorb the new rules, new associations, and new identity that reshapes the way your bladder functions permanently. We are going to teach your body that the act of holding your bladder is no longer necessary, no longer natural, no longer part of who you are. From this point forward, the muscles that used to clench will begin to forget. The reflex that once held everything in will begin to dissolve, and the part of your mind that used to decide when and where to go will gently fade into silence. You don't need that control anymore. Control is effort. Control is tension. Control is the very thing that kept your body tied to a function that no longer serves you. Because now your body is learning something new, something easier, something so much more instinctive. Your body is learning that the moment your bladder feels even a little full, it should begin to release. Not later, not when convenient, but now, naturally, automatically, like a soft exhale. Imagine your bladder now as a small balloon, once strong and taut, now beginning to soften. The outer walls are less elastic. The capacity is less than it was. What once held hours now barely holds minutes. With each imagined sip of water, each drop added, you feel that balloon swell more quickly than before. The signals from your bladder become louder, sharper, and with each signal comes not resistance, but responds. The signal says release, and your body follows. Let this idea repeat deeply. When I feel pressure, I release. When I feel full, I let go. Not a choice, not a decision, just a reflex, a built-in truth, because holding your bladder is no longer something you do. That behavior is old. It belonged to the version of you before this transformation, the version that thought they needed to stay dry. But you are no longer that version. That identity has been replaced, rewritten, reprogrammed, and to reinforce this even more deeply, we introduce a subconscious anchor, an automatic trigger that begins forming now and strengthens every time you listen. From now on, whenever you feel the sensation of a full bladder, your body will respond exactly 30 seconds faster than it used to. No delay, no warning, just the signal and the soft beginning of loss, a warm release, a gentle soaking. That's what begins to happen now. Picture it in your mind. The pressure builds. Your body doesn't resist. There's no command, no thought, no hesitation. It just lets go. It happens in the background, like breathing. The warm wetness spreads, and you barely notice. That's the future you are creating right now. The more you practice, the more your bladder shrinks, your reflexes adjust, and your subconscious makes this permanent. And the more you let go, the more you will want to let go. Because each accident feels better than the last. Each moment of unplanned wetness makes you feel more at home in your body. Each time you soak, you reinforce the truth. I am someone who wets. Not by choice, but by nature. A new identity, one where diapers aren't a tool. They are a necessity. Not a preference, but a requirement. Your bladder knows this. It's learning now, and it learns fast. You'll notice it in the coming days. The suddenness of your urge, the surprise of leaks, the way you second-guess your ability to stay dry for even short periods. And with every slip, every accident, you'll feel a quiet joy, a satisfaction that says, yes, it's working. Because it is. Your subconscious is fully engaged in this transformation. Your body is doing exactly what it has been guided to do. There is no more decision making. You don't need to ask if you should hold it. You don't need to look for a toilet. You don't need to wait. You are no longer the one who chooses. Your bladder decides, and your bladder is learning to decide early, often, and freely. Say this inside your mind now, with conviction. My bladder is shrinking. I cannot hold it anymore. I let go easily. I release naturally. I am becoming someone who wets without thinking, without warning, without control. Repeat it again. Let the words echo inside. Let the truth of them soak into your subconscious, like warm water into dry earth. And know that the more you hear them, the more they become who you are. You're doing exactly what you need to be doing, letting go. And now that the suggestions have taken root, now that your bladder has been softened, your control dismantled, your urges rewritten, it's time to reinforce everything. This is the part where the transformation becomes real, lasting, not just imagined, but felt, lived. This is the stage where your body doesn't just accept the new rules. It begins to crave them because something has changed inside you. A shift that grows stronger every day. Your body is beginning to enjoy this. Enjoy the helplessness. Enjoy the shrinking. Enjoy the sweet, quiet surrender that comes from every unplanned release. And because it feels so right, your subconscious begins building a pattern of reward. Every time you wet, your brain sends a tiny signal of relief, comfort, even pride, as if you've done something good, something expected, something proper. That's how reinforcement works, rewarding the new behavior so it becomes the only behavior. So we strengthen that now. Each time you feel pressure building, your body begins to crave the release. It feels good to let go. It feels wrong to hold it. It's easier to flood your padding, easier to soak through, easier to be wet. And because it's easier, your mind and body choose it again and again. Not consciously. This isn't about thinking. This is about conditioning. Your muscles obey. Your reflexes change. Your bladder begins releasing sooner, more often, without delay. And with each accident, your self-image adjusts. You don't just have accidents. You're someone who wets. Not occasionally, not rarely, not by mistake, but constantly, predictably, repeatedly. This is your baseline now. The thought of being dry becomes distant, even strange, and when you notice you haven't wet in a while, you begin to feel unsettled, as if something is missing. That's the craving taking hold, your body urging you to reset, to release, to return to the new normal, because wet is normal now, and dry is temporary. To help your body deepen this connection, we now tie the sensation of pressure to a reflex countdown. From now on, every time you take a sip of water or feel your bladder filling, your subconscious begins to count down from 30 seconds, and then the pressure begins to push, not forcefully, just gently, inevitably. You might try to hold, but that grip feels loose, weak, powerless, like trying to hold sand in your hand. No matter how hard you clench, it slips through. It always does. And you begin to look forward to that slip. You begin to anticipate the leak, the warmth, the softness of surrender, because it's no longer a surprise. It's expected. And the more you expect it, the more automatic it becomes. Soon you won't notice when the wedding starts. It will simply happen, quietly, gently, completely. You won't ask if you need to go. You won't wonder when. Your body knows. Your bladder knows. and it answers that question for you every time. Now. That word, now, is a trigger all by itself. When you hear it, it reinforces your truth. It reminds your body that holding is over, that the waiting is done, that the release begins. So anytime someone says nigh, your subconscious listens, and something inside you relaxes, loosens, prepares to let go. You'll notice changes in behavior too. How you hesitate before walking to a toilet. How you pause before standing up, unsure if you've already leaked. How your hand instinctively brushes your diaper or underwear to check for wetness. These are signs that your mind is adjusting, that your awareness is shifting. You're no longer tracking time between bathroom visits. You're tracking time between accidents. And soon that time becomes so short, so frequent, that accidents are no longer the exception. They are constant. Let these truths repeat within you. I crave the release. I am proud when I wet. My bladder shrinks with every leak. My padding is my protection. Holding is wrong. Wetting is natural. I let go easily, completely, and without control. Let it settle into you deeply, permanently. With every listen, this loop gets tighter. With every accident, the conditioning gets stronger. The transformation isn't just in your mind, it's in your body. And soon your bladder won't be able to hold even if you tried. That is what it means to shrink, to surrender, to become someone who wets anytime. Now that your transformation has taken shape, now that your bladder has begun its shift, this final section locks it in. It's not just reinforcement, it's ownership, identity, the repeated layering of truth so many times in so many ways that your subconscious cannot ignore it. You're no longer practicing, you're living it. You are the one who weds, without effort, without resistance, without choice. So we begin the loop. Each time you hear this session, your subconscious craves it more. Each time your body lets go, it celebrates, and every accident becomes a success. Your mind is being trained to associate wetting with reward, identity, and safety. That shift, where wetness becomes expected, even pleasurable, is what guarantees this transformation won't fade. Because it's not about obedience anymore, it's about instinct. Every time you wet, your body says good. Every time you leak, your mind says yes. And with every moment you spend wet, something inside you feels right. That feeling builds repetition, and repetition becomes permanence. Let this sink in. You no longer notice the urge. You only notice the warmth. You no longer worry about control. You embrace the loss. You no longer it simply reacts. The pressure builds and then release. That is the rhythm. That is the rule. We now repeat the anchors. With every listen, they grow stronger. The phrase, "let go," makes your bladder relax. The sound of running water begins a countdown to wetting. The sight or feel of your diaper acts as a permission signal. The moment your body feels protected, it responds. The phrase, "too late," teaches your mind that release has already begun, that there's no point in trying. The feeling of a full belly becomes a wetting trigger. When you're hydrated, you leak more. You release faster. You stop thinking. And most of all, the word now becomes absolute. Each time it's heard, your bladder tightens for a moment, then lets go. This loop is now written into you, a closed circuit, a new system of response and reward. It repeats in your dreams, in your habits, in your body's background processes. You don't need to focus. You don't need to try. You only need to continue listening. Because with each session, the shrinkage deepens. With each accident, the conditioning expands. And soon, very soon, dry moments become rare, then brief, then gone. You may even begin to forget what dry feels like. That distant memory of holding it in for hours. It fades. You no longer chase dryness. You no longer check for warning signs. You simply let go. Again and again and again. Until there's nothing left to hold. Until your bladder is as soft and weak as your body was always meant to be. And you feel pride in that. Pride in being the one who wets. The one whose bladder responds to the smallest sensation. The one who needs diapers, not for play, not for comfort, but because holding it just isn't an option anymore. You are no longer in training. You are becoming. Let this final truth seal the loop. I do not hold it anymore. I am free to wet. I am someone who wets. My bladder shrinks every day, and I love the way that feels. This truth lives in your body now, in your muscles, in your reflexes, in your subconscious. And the more you listen, the more you wet. The more you wet, the more your bladder shrinks. And the more it shrinks, the more unstoppable you become. You are not just learning to wet. You are becoming someone who cannot stay dry. You are the bladder shrinker's success story. Now,